AI to create more efficiency within the operations of your company. Chris, thank you so much for finding time to be here. And I'm very excited to also learn from this topic myself because it's such a new thing that I think every day there's something new to learn around this topic and area. So thank you so much for your time and for being here today.
Of course, and thank you, Elona, so much for inviting me on and in front of your audience. And I am so excited to share the gospel according to AI.
So let's dive right into it. We got a short attention span as we run companies and we're all busy individuals. So let's kind of just, you know, based on your perspective, what do you think we should know around AI and efficiency?
Well, I guess if you take nothing else away, take away the idea that you need to go out there and play with this stuff. You need to get Chat GPT. You can use the free version. Right now, the free version has everything the paid version has. It just doesn't react as quickly. So we're talking 30 seconds versus 5 seconds. Big deal, right? But get out there, play with it, learn about it, because you cannot break this stuff. It won't break, but you can discover all kinds of ways that you can leverage its knowledge to help your business.
Mm, absolutely. I love that, right? I mean, 30 seconds, 5 seconds, like give humans a way to do things faster, and we already get used to the
Yeah.
new levels of speed, right? And yeah, that was a good point. I thought that was pretty cool. So yeah, I think definitely the way that we want to implement it in our day to day is everyone is in their own journey and they can really start to test things and figure out how to implement it without obviously compromising their brand voice or all the other activities in their business. But based on your experience and the work that you do, what are some maybe top five ways that we can leverage AI right away to help us with maybe the systems piece or the operations?
Yeah, yeah. Basically, the best use cases are anything that you do that is repetitive. So you may be like, I have a client who is a nonprofit. They have to write grant proposals. They have to write those to get funding. They hate doing that. It typically takes them weeks to figure out which grants apply to them. And then after that, it takes them a week or so to write the proposal, get it sent in. I have set them up with a GPT, which is like Chat GPT. You can create customized ones that are experts at one subject. I set them up with one that is an expert in grant writing. And now it takes probably 3 minutes for them to not only find an appropriate grant, but write the grant and submit the grant. It's so much faster.
Mm. And I think that's the leverage when you use a paid version, right? You can actually train the ChatGPT according to your business, your expertise, your area or field of work, and it will pretty much personalize.
Yeah,
Like,
you mentioned staying in your voice. That's exactly what you do is you train it in the way you write, in the way you speak. You train it with your website. You train it with the PDFs that you've put out. And with that scenario, they trained it with every grant they've ever written, and suddenly it knows their voice.
mhm. What about lead generation? I know this is always like a top of mind thing for most businesses because money new clients in, saving them in the back end. That's kind of how a business works together, pretty much at all times. It's almost like the cycle that never keeps on ending. Do you have any ideas around using AI for lead generation?
Yeah, there's some great ones there. Research is probably the best uh, reason to use it for lead gen. Is you tell it, hey, this is the industry I'm going after. Go find me some companies, find me some contacts, and because it has access to everything on the internet, everything in encyclopedias, it can find all of this stuff, and it can then give you links and it can cite where it came from. Uh, but there's a lot of companies who are out there right now saying, "Hey, we'll do your LinkedIn cold outreach or your Facebook cold outreach." I don't like that as much the way they're doing it because it still feels kind of canned. Um, but I think that's more implementation than the tool. I don't think they're using it as well as they should. But if you're smart about it, you can get it to do that as well. Not only identify the people that you want to reach out to, and but also craft the message. And then you either have somebody do it, or you connect one of these Zapiers, or if this then that type thing, and let it automatically do it.
Yeah. Well, that's another creative way to use it for sure. Research, I like that fact, right? Because research usually takes a lot of time, and once you're clear on a few of the other pieces of that puzzle, then yeah, you can leverage it to be able to help you do that as well. Chris, what are your thoughts on AI and I guess the evolution of the coaching and consulting space now that we have AI here? Where do you kind of see the industry? Because I know you.
Well, a lot of people are afraid because an AI can coach and it can consult because it has access to all the world's data. But like anything, when a new technology comes out, you can stick your head in the sand and say, I'm not going to mess with it because it's going to take my job. Or you can say, no, I'm going to find ways to leverage what I'm already doing and keep my human contact, my touch involved. And then instead, now you become a hybrid that is AI driven, but also human driven. And in doing that, you end up offering something a lot of other coaches won't offer. So at the end of the day, the human part has to stay in coaching, um, but a lot of the low hanging fruit will disappear. The easy stuff that AI can do.
Yeah, I love your thoughts on that. The complementary piece between both, and then the personalization and a human, helping someone overcome maybe some challenges that they have personal.
Mhm.
And because it's not always just a strategy, or it's not always the steps for someone to take, but it's also the things that are holding them back, because Google's been around for a long, long time, but we still have a lot of people that are not where they want to be with the different types of
Yeah.
results, all areas, not just business, obviously. So I love your school of thought on that. And yeah, just like anything, you can shy away and just stay comfortable, but competition, right? Other people are not doing that. So, you can cry about it, or you can evolve and learn how to maybe even innovate your own business model. To add value in a different way, and then be able to always offer something that is value driven, because at the end of the day, that's what will always win. And not to be afraid to pivot as well, because I know how easy it is to kind of just stay to do the same thing over and over, because we invested so much time in that and all of that. But adapting is the name of the game in the journey of entrepreneurship. So there's always going to be new interruptions that come our way, but at the end of the day, I think it levels up everyone, because now we have to creatively think of different ways to add value. And who wins at the end of the day? The consumer and the client. So that's who gets the most value, which is good. That's how the world works, and that's how we should work. Chris, based on your day-to-day work, can you walk me through some of the things that you are doing to help other people with the specific results that you help them achieve?
Yeah, what I do is I will initially set up a consult with them, a no cost consult where we just kind of dig into your business and see, are there ways that AI can be leveraged to improve your business, improve your bottom line, get more customers, any of those things. Uh, Once we identify that, then I can show you all the tools you need to go use. You can go use it, and you don't ever have to talk to me again. Or if you want some hand holding, we offer what's called a fractional CAIO program, or Chief AI Officer. So so you can hire myself as your AI officer, but it's fractional. So you don't have to pay me 40 hours a week. You could pay me, you want an hour a week or something like that. And then we can do regular check-ins. Plus, there's so many changes happening every single day in AI right now that you would have to spend a lot of time keeping up with all the changes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we do, and at our company, we keep up with all the changes. Google just came out with some new stuff. Apple just came out with their new AI stuff. So this is happening every single day, and the tools that are available right now versus even a week ago, it's night and day different. The things you can do. So that's why we do the fractional thing and say, hey, just use this 1 hour a week, 2 hours a week, whatever you need.
Yeah, I love that. That's smart, right? Talk about innovation now. I mean, everybody's afraid of the old, being old and being left behind. But look, there's new opportunities. Now we have a fractional person like you, right, that can come in and actually just focus on the specific niche of the business with the implementation, and on a fractional basis where you are not tied to anything and you can help many, many other companies. So there you
Yeah.
go. Speak about, not everything comes with a doom. There's always positive on the other side. So we just always got to look for ways to solve problems and be creative with that as well. So I love that you've been able to kind of really fast adapt back to your background. And that's actually what I'm going to ask you next. What's your background? How did you get to do this work today?
Well, I've always been a nerd. And that means I've always been on the cutting edge of technology just because it's so interesting to me. And then because I've always been, since junior high school, a business person, I then say, how can I leverage this technology to improve business, or to streamline something? So when AI, everybody's heard of Chat GPT, that's going on 2 years now, it's been out. But I was messing with AI back in the 80s, you know. So it's come a long way, and I tell you, it is exponentially speeding up. So there is, I think they said something like to teach AI kindergarten level English communication took like 40 years. To now surpass college, advanced degree level communication, then took another 6 months. So it's that much faster it is learning right now.
Hmm. Oh, you could have been one of the early founders. Oh man. But yeah, I mean that's the other piece about it. I think it's also important for us to kind of hear, our intuition, because when something is not out there on the market, sometimes we don't always like think that it's something that's going to be embraced, and it's something new that's coming out.
Yeah,
Obviously, with the business end and marketing and all of that, you need to do more of the education, but there's always a high reward because obviously you're also one of the first people to be able to bring something to market and have product market fit. And usually when there is no market, there is no competition, right? But
yeah,
obviously there's always the other side of the thing. So it's very cool that you intuitively have like been playing around with tech in all your own ways as well. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing that as well,
yeah.
Chris. Any final thoughts around AI? Anything else that you really feel like, okay, this is a thing that maybe we haven't talked about thus far that you like to leave our audience with today? Maybe a couple of more tips that you just kind of see from your wide experience that you just described.
Yeah, one of the big fears everybody has is AI is going to cost me my job. And yes, it will cost some people their jobs. But a recent study said that of a knowledge worker, which is what most of us are now, knowledge workers, uh, the average knowledge worker can replace about 1/3 of what they do with AI, which means they're not going to lose that job. Yes, if you're in a company where you have 30 people doing the exact same thing you're doing, then yeah, 10 of those will lose their jobs. But those other 20 will be more productive. They'll be more hireable. They'll have better jobs. So don't worry about it's going to cost you your job. And even if you are a business owner and you know it's not going to cost you your job, it's not going to cost you your business unless you ignore it. If you ignore it, then yeah, people are going to leave you behind. It's like being the buggy and whip salesman when the automobile came out. You can stick to what you're doing, or you can get out there and say, hey, what are these automobile things? Maybe we should look into them.
Yeah, I think it just makes for, I mean, obviously it comes with its side effects, but it just makes us as humans to even be, always working on our skills, always working,
Yes.
improving ourselves. It's no longer just like, okay, it's nice, okay, great for the people that are always trying to learn something new. It just becomes a way of life. That's kind of how I see it. Because even when you don't, feel like a major pain in your life, to be able to changes here, and it's constant. And yeah, I mean, we will act on it when we have enough pain, obviously, or we will be more proactive because information's out there, and we just get to hear things that can just connect with us. So yeah.
Yeah. And I did want to say one other quick thing. We, for people who are wanting to learn more about it, um, and how it can implement. Like I said, we'll do a free consult, no big deal, no cost. We'll schedule a convenient time. But there's also some great courses online that I can refer you to that give you a lot of the background. Yeah, whether you need the 30,000 foot overview of what the world of AI is, or you need some hands on, how can I use it, teach you how to ask it for help. We've got all of that stuff available.
Awesome. And is that on your website? Where should people continue this conversation with you today?
Yeah, you can go to freshmediaworks.com, and there you can go to artificial intelligence on there, or just the main page. Anywhere it just says book a call, and again, there's no cost for that. You just set up a time, and we'll chat and figure out what it is AI can do for you.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Chris, for your time and all the wisdom that you shared with us from your own authentic experience. I would love to maybe end this conversation with the big mission behind the work that you do. Why do you feel like you are passionate about what you do? Where do you see yourself in the future? And what's your impact? What kind of impact do you want to create with the work that you're doing? And how is affecting others and doing more good in the world overall?
I love that. Yeah. Yeah. At the end of the day, I've always been a storyteller, whether it's the books I've written, the classes I've taught, the podcast, you name it, I've been a storyteller. And as a marketer, that's what I do. I help people tell their stories, because I 100% believe every single person in the world has a great story, not just a good one. There's an amazing story behind everybody. And I get joy telling people, "Oh, you've got to go find out about Elona. She has such a cool thing going on," and that's what juices me in the morning.
I love how this stuff shows up in such different ways for all of us, but at the core, we have a commonality, especially what you just shared in me. Like I want to create platforms where people feel seen and heard. Because at the bottom of what I want to do is that. And look at you. I mean, through AI and through the work that you're doing, in deep down, the meaningful work that drives you in the morning is to be able to storytell and share stories of others, and learn and grow amongst our own experiences. Because at the end of the day, that's really how I've looked back at my past, and that's how I've learned. It's how humans have learned, and it's kind of the way that we give back by sharing our experience. And the more authentic we can be, speaking about AI and leveraging this as a tool so that we can scale the information that we give, the experiences that we are living or have lived in the past, and share those with others. These are all the new platforms to be able to do so. So yeah, great mission. Thank you for your service to the world, and thank you so much for the work that you're doing. And yeah, we've reached the end of this conversation today. I'll see you next time with another amazing guest and conversation. And I will also, speaking of websites, love to take you to my website. Somewhere here, yep, the QSR codes should be right up there. And you'll find some free resources around scaling your company at the next level and aligning purpose with profit. Thank you as usual for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Are you experiencing these two main gaps in your company and your business? Inconsistent cash flow and clients, and also scalability issues. Maybe you've reached your maximum capacity with your current business model and the way that you're operating your business now, and you are really experiencing burnout and no time freedom in your business. But you're not sure what to do to be able to scale your company to the next level so that your company also becomes an independent asset outside of you, so that it can become an asset if maybe later you would like to sell your company or build a legacy company that really does more good in the world. For my dear podcast listeners, I'm offering a free 30-minute discovery call where I will intentively listen to what is it that you've built in your company thus far, and then offer my insight around some of the gaps that I can hear from the main gaps that we talked about at the beginning of this conversation that you might be experiencing. And I would love to offer some insight around my experience on what might some of those gaps be and ways to further support you in the future of the scaling of your purpose and profit, so that absolutely you can do more good in the world and your company can be independent of its founder and owner and become an asset that also creates amazing momentum out there in the world. For a limited time, I would love to offer my 30-minute time on my calendar for a free discovery call. You can just grab a time on the QSR code right here on the left-hand side of the screen, and grab a time so we can further connect. Again, thank you so much for being loyal listeners to the podcast and also for always supporting the show. I'll see you with another episode and another amazing